Hi, my name is Sarah, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that life's darkest moments can lead us to the most powerful transformations. There was a time when I felt like my life was a complete mess, but Jesus took my broken pieces and made it into something beautiful. I want to share my journey with you because I believe that no matter where you are right now, there's hope. You are not defined by your past, and your future is brighter than you can imagine. In my 20s, I felt like I was drowning. I had a great job, friends, and everything looked fine on the outside. But deep down, I was exhausted and felt like I was running on empty. I kept trying to find fulfillment in my work, in relationships, in people's approval, but the emptiness only grew. I started relying on alcohol to numb the feeling, and soon, my life felt like one big spiral of stress and shame. I remember looking in the mirror one day and barely recognizing myself. I asked, "Is this who I'm supposed to be?" I felt so far from the dreams I once had, so far from the person I wanted to be. I was broken, ashamed, and completely unsure if my life even had a purpose anymore. The Bible says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Psalm 34:18. I didn't know it yet, but God was with me in those dark moments, waiting for me to reach out to Him. Then came one night I'll never forget. I had reached rock bottom and I felt alone and defeated. In my despair, I remembered hearing as a child that Jesus loved me, that He would never leave me, no matter what I'd done or how far I'd fallen. And in that moment, for the first time in years, I prayed. I said, "Jesus, if you're there, if you really care, help me. I don't want to live like this anymore." It was like a tiny light started shining in my heart. It wasn't dramatic, but I felt a peace I couldn't explain. Slowly, I began to realize that I didn't have to carry my pain and shame alone. Jesus was reaching out, offering to help me rebuild my life, offering me hope where I thought there was none. The Bible says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. I found peace in knowing that Jesus was willing to take my burdens and replace them with hope. That was the beginning of a beautiful transformation. I started attending church again and surrounding myself with people who encouraged me. I found mentors and friends who showed me what it meant to truly live for Christ. I began praying, reading the Bible, and letting Jesus guide me. I stumbled at times, but Jesus never let me go. As I grew closer to God, I started to see my struggles differently. My mistakes and my pain weren't the end of my story. They were only a chapter. And by trusting Jesus with them, they could be used to help others. I realized that the things I'd been ashamed of were exactly the things that could inspire hope in someone else. The Bible says, "And we know that all things work for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Romans 8:28. Jesus was taking my broken pieces and working them together into a purpose greater than I could have imagined. Today, I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. My life isn't perfect, but I wake up every day with a purpose. I share my story with others who feel lost, who feel like their lives are beyond redemption. My mess, my failures, and my struggles have all been turned into a message of hope. Every time I share my story, I see the light come on in someone else's eyes. People tell me that they've felt the same pain, the same shame, and that they'd almost given up on ever finding peace. And I get to tell them, if Jesus could heal me, He can heal you too. If Jesus can turn my life around, He can do it for you. The Bible says, "They triumphed over Him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." Revelation 12:11. My story, my mess, became a testimony that has the power to uplift others. If you're listening to this and feel like you're too far gone, I want you to know that your story isn't over. Jesus is waiting to turn your mess into a message, to make something beautiful out of every tear, every struggle, and every mistake. Let Him in. Reach out to Him and watch what He can do. You have a purpose, a future, and a message to share with the world.